Shalom, Kahala, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kodash. Double honors to the elders, elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them and taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers up pushing the word of truth and in sincerity. My brother Yahshua back with another third world update. All right, and you know, just day by day, you can see what's going on. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. All right, let's get this real quick. All right. Get this, Aramaic, Bible in plain English. This is Matthew 24:6. And it is going to happen that you are going to hear battles and reports of wars. So that's what this is. It's a report of war. All right, now let's go back let's go to Secret Files here. Secret Files 333 channel. And this is 5 hours ago. It reads, China offers to host Israeli-Palestinian talks. What kind of talks? Peace talks? Peace talks. See this real quick. All right, because really nobody's going to be able to stop this. China already has a side.
China's offer to host Israeli-Palestinian peace talks is a bid to expand its influence in the Middle East as the new administration in Washington works out its playbook, analysts said. During a virtual meeting of the 15-member UN Security Council on Sunday, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi again called for an immediate ceasefire between the two sides and for Israel to lift its blockade and siege of Gaza as soon as possible.
It's actually a threat, too. It's a veiled threat. If you don't do that, hey, guess what? Guess whose side we're on? We're not on the least of the flock's side. China is in alliance with Iran, okay, and, well, basically the Medo-Persian Empire, all right?
Also urged the U.S. to stop obstructing the council in.
Okay, so that's a veiled threat. It's not peace talks. It's saying if you don't stop doing what you're doing right now, the next logical step is this alliance is about to overwhelm you. Okay.
Action on the conflict, and to support its efforts to ease tensions and to find a political resolution. China took over as rotating chair of the council at the
There is no political solution, all right, as far as songs go. Spirits in the material world, and of course, the elder apostle Gabar always makes mention of, bands like the Police, Sting, and that was a song that they wrote, Spirits in the Material World. And one of the lines was, there is no political solution.
Over as rotating chair of the council at the beginning of May. We will continue to increase our efforts to urge for peace and promote talks, and fulfill our responsibilities as chair of the Security Council, he said. We reaffirm our invitation to peacemakers from Palestine and Israel to come to China to open up dialogue, and we welcome negotiators from both sides to engage in direct talks in China. One said talks should resume for a two-state solution that would include the early establishment of an independent Palestinian state, based on the 1967 border with the contested East Jerusalem as its capital, that would coexist with the state of Israel.
Okay, so, and we all know that this flare-up, this thing's been going on for years and years. Why? Because suddenly out of nowhere, and they've been there, they were there, but in a very small capacity, the so-called Jews, right, who are not the Jews, but this goes all the way back, to before World War II. They were kind of, sojourning in the land of what they called Palestine at the time, all right? But then more and more, they've been, on this genocidal campaign, right? A scorched earth policy, if you will, to get these people out of the land. Now, they're not going to stop now. This latest flare up, all right, which they say started 2 weeks ago, roughly, all right, is the result of them pushing the Palestinians off of their land, stealing their houses, and so Hamas started shooting rockets over there. But that's the part that the Amalekites leave out. They said, well, Hamas started shooting rockets, so we went and started bombing and strafing. No, you're stealing land. You got on record, on video, you got the Amalekites sit there saying, well, if I don't steal it, somebody else will. All right? Which is all the proof you need. That's what started this latest round of where we're at now. But, okay, is this the last straw? Or are they going to have a partial, shutdown of the war? Well, that remains to be seen, because if it keeps going at this rate, there's no time for the mark of the Beastie Boys. Okay? So the mark of the Beastie Boys has to come, all right, before World War III jumps off in earnest. So there might be a small ceasefire for a minute, all right?
He also said Israel needed to stop expelling Palestinians from their homes, to stop violence and
that's the whole thing right there. Right? That's what started this. Running them out of their homes, stealing their land.
To stop violence and threats against Muslims, and to expelling Palestinians from their home. He also said Israel needed to stop expelling Palestinians from their homes, to stop violence and threats against Muslims, and to respect the status quo of religious sites in Jerusalem. At the same time, the Palestinian side should avoid escalating the situation, including by firing rockets towards Tel Aviv.
They don't have a choice. If somebody's stealing your home and your land, you have to, you have every right to protect your land and your home. It's got to start somewhere, so don't blame it on the victims. That's bullshit.
In the past, China has always called for a ceasefire, but
and furthermore, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to give the land back to the children of Israel, right? And yeah, it's going to come through cleansing and fire and all of that, but not at the hand of the Israelites. It's going to come at the hand of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? Or he's going to make those nukes cleanse the place, which the children of Israel have no nukes. Where does it say in the scriptures that the children of Israel have nukes? Now, our military does, okay? We got the greatest war chariots ever created in the universe, but right now, that's not part of the equation. All right, so whoever is bombing and strafing down there is not the children of Israel, because we have no power in our hand. All right?
Mentions how and who would provide the platform for negotiations, he said. Because China is now positioning itself as a global power, it needs to take up the responsibilities of a major power, so it cannot be absent on hot global issues.
All right, so enough of that.
In heaven, this little girl came up to...
All right, so let's watch another one. I'm going to try to keep this short. This is how to solve Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And again, none of it is going to work. They might have a small ceasefire. All right, but things are moving too quick right now. All right.
There are no winners at war. War does nothing else than bringing more conflicts. The best solution for both countries is cooperating with each other.
And for the record, okay, these what they call elites, not these two people that you see, but the people that you don't see, all right, they're funding both sides of whatever war They're the ones bringing it, all right, because they're trying to kick the chessboard, rearrange it, and bring in what they call their new world order. It's not going to work.
Respecting their religion and keep the population safe, territory is not more important than people lives. No other subject has engaged the attention of the international relations over the decades about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The question has been on the agenda of the United Nations since the beginning of the organization and had produced an intensive debate to solve the problem. The fact is that the civilians of both countries are against war, but the politicians of both countries are making it always more difficult to find a peace solution. 700 years BC, both countries used to be neighbors.
You see that? With the ancient names in there? Philistine. Look at that. Edom. Okay. Aram. Aramaic. Ammon, Moab. Judah, Israel. Look at that. Phoenician. Nineveh. Wonder if that's real.
Used to be neighbors, but with a different map, and then, by year 600 BC, both countries disappear, since have been occupied by many other countries, and the population fled their territories.
Well, there's Alexander's generals. Okay, there's Alexander. There's Ptolemy, right, who took over Egypt, and they sat on the throne and called himself Seleucus. All right, look at that.
In 1922, Palestine state was created, and the British also gave the right to the Jews to settle there, creating a minority of 10%. In 1947 was created.
Wait, let me go back on that. That's important. In what?
And the British also gave the right to the
Okay, the British did what?
Territories. In 1922.
In 1922, they created Palestine, and then England came in there, right? Took it over and started dividing it up like you got a right to do any of that. That's Esau, first of all, coming in and setting this whole thing up long time ago. In 22? Now what was that? When was World War I? Okay. The First World War, okay, was what? 1917, I believe. So whatever this is, what were they doing? They were setting up what's going on right now.
Palestine state was created, and the British also gave the right to the Jews to settle there, creating a minority of 10.
Okay, so this shit goes all the way back to the First World War. They started setting this whole thing up to make it look like these Amalekites are us. And then they set it up in World War II. Oh, we're gonna oppress the Amalekites and then give them this land. You see how this whole thing is set up?
To settle there, creating a minority of 10%. In 1947 was created the State of Israel, with most of immigrants settling there, which since then have been causing conflicts with the neighbors and mostly Palestine. People are tired of this non-ending war. Civilians of both countries want to live in peace. One of the peace solutions seems to be easy, but also difficult. Here is why. The two-state solution would create an independent Israel and Palestine, and is the mainstream approach to resolving the conflict.
That's them parting the land, all right? No, your scheme is not going to work, all right? We see right through this bullshit, all right? That's our land. What are you doing there, parting it? Talk about a two-state, so that ain't no damn solution. That's our land. We're about to be reinstalled.
The idea is that Israelis and Palestinians want to run their countries differently. Israelis want a Jewish state, and Palestinians want a Palestinian one.
Arab state. Okay. Now what about the Israelites that want to live by the laws of the Most High that are in the Bible? Okay. They're not doing that now. None of these people are doing that.
Because neither side can get what it wants in a joint state, the only possible solution that satisfies everyone involves separating
is the Most High's plan. Total annihilation.
Palestinians and Israelis. Most polling suggests that both Israelis and Palestinians prefer a two-state solution.
No matter what you prefer, the Most High is going to destroy what you're talking about. Okay, let's get one more. This deep journal. It says, okay, and see, because it doesn't matter what you say you're going to do. Okay,
Big Pharma doesn't
what you're
want you
going
to
to do is you're going to make a treaty and you're going to break it. You're going to make an ally and you're going to double cross it. Salakia. The name of this is Deep Journal Channel. All right, May 18th, which is today. Breaking. Biden's USA double cross Israel. Couldn't resist Russia and China. Netanyahu, no comment. Okay, so let's watch this.
Welcome to the Deep Journal channel. By subscribing to our channel before moving on to our video, you can be instantly informed about the last news and comments. As calls for a ceasefire in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have increased in the international community, President Joe Biden has never spoken of a ceasefire until now. Russia, which sees Syria as its own land, accepts it as its neighbor. Israel-Palestine conflict. Putin says it threatens our border security, and China accuses the U.S. of undermining the solution of the Palestine-Israel conflict in the United Nations. What President Joe Biden would do in front of him was a matter of great curiosity. Israel, having a ceasefire, organized many more attacks against the problem to achieve their goals, while Netanyahu did not comment after President Joe Biden's call for a ceasefire from his eternal ally, the United States. The president expressed the ceasefire and discussed the U.S. engagement with Egypt and other partners to this end, the White House said in a statement Monday. It was said, the statement is also an indication that Biden's support for the ceasefire is taking a step back against Chinese and Russian pressure. Biden's negotiation of engagement with Egypt and other partners for a ceasefire may be an effort to gain a constructive population against the Middle Eastern states and make a move against China and Russia. However, it is the statement that Joe Biden, who changed his initial attitude with this late move, had different goals. On the other hand, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Washington's rejection of proposals to block diplomacy at the United Nations, and President Joe Biden's administration approved the potential sale of $735 million of precision-guided weapons to Israel.
Oh, there it is right there. You can't get around that. You're saying one thing and doing something totally different. How much? $735 million worth of ammunition? Dude, you're supplying your allies with this, okay? So, I mean, the jig is up, all right? You can act like there's diplomacy or a ceasefire or whatever. Well, what is this? Okay? They see right through what you're trying to do here. Okay? So here we are. Everybody is calling for a ceasefire. They don't really mean it. Okay? They don't want no ceasefire. They're choosing up sides. They're trying to be the devil with one another, and they're trying to beguile one another. All right, trick one another, if you will. Let's get that one. We'll go ahead and close it. We see what's going on. Hey, I believe this thing is not gonna. They won't get a ceasefire. It's just gonna continue to ramp up. Let's get 25. This is Matthew 12, 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. What kingdom are they talking about? The NWO. They're divided against themselves. All right? The new what? World. The new world order. That means everybody. All right? The same organization that's going to try to fight against Yahushua and the angels when they come back. They're going to stop fighting amongst themselves and fight against Yahushua. 33. 2 Ezra 13:33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have won against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, new world order, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Okay? So back here, this is Satan, okay, coming up against Satan. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. NWO. And if Satan shall cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Meaning your new world order is going to come to naught. All right, so with that, hope that the elect were edified. We're going to give a daily update of the Third World's War, because in the middle of it, Yahushua and the angels are coming back. All right, then it's swing down, sweet chariot, just stop and let me ride. All right, so with that, we can say shalom.